What is up, NFC North fans? I hope you are having a fantastic evening. Man, you guys took over my Thanksgiving dinner. Had to watch all NFC North football. It felt like Thursday, Friday, and then, sorry to Vikings fans. I don't know what that was. But hey, at least you don't have to worry about a Max Brosmore issue anymore because JJ McCarthy's not losing his job anytime soon. So there is that. Well, let me bring in the fellas. We're short one today. You know, it's interesting that Lions fans don't show up when all of a sudden they might miss the playoffs. We've got no dose of Dion tonight. Sounds like he's ducking to me. He specifically said, I'm not ducking, which means he's ducking. Fellas, good to see you. We got Tony in for Nick. Tony, thank you for coming on. We got Bass. We got One Bar. Fellas, I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Tony, let's start with you, man. How's your evening, bud?
It's going good. I mean, I'm just feeling good right now. Been a while since I felt this good about a Bears team. 9-3, coming off 5 straight wins. Don't know how you guys normally kick it off here. If you just go right into how great you're feeling about your teams, I think we can all relate to that. Won 9 of the last 10. Top seed in the NFC. Ryan Poles' prophecy is finally coming true. We are going to take the North. We're never going to give it back. Despite Bass's best stats about how the Bears haven't played anyone good all year last week, I think dominating the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions on Black Friday in their house changes that narrative a little bit. So I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Well, Bass, listen, I feel like this is a little unfair of a fight, right? Like he's been watching the shows. He's totally prepared for everything you're about to say. You don't even know anything about Tony. Like I feel like this is an unfair fight, but such is life, man. And for a Green Bay Packer fan, how you doing this evening?
Good. You gotta finish the season to take the North, and there's a lot of ball left to be played, including 2 games against the Green Bay Packers, which are going to decide this division. Which, based on how the Packers have been playing, I'm very comfortable moving forward. So you're right, though. I said they haven't beat anyone or beat any quarterback, and that was before Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts not the best quarterback in the league, but the Eagles are the reigning champs. So you play them in their house, and you go out there and you pretty much dominate them all game. That's impressive, and it really showed that hey, the Bears are the real deal. So I think the Packers are going to have their hands full these next, 3 weeks playing them twice, but I'm ready for it. NFC North, it's going to come down to those 2 games.
I feel like Bears fans would take just hearing they're the real deal 13 weeks into the season from Packers fans. I think that in itself is a win. You know who's not the real deal is Max Brosmer. One Bar, man. How you doing, brother?
Boy,
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you guys is having such a great time this season. Confidence is high. Looking forward to this week's game. It's horrible. It can't really get worse. Every week I come on and say, you know what? It can't get worse. It can't get worse.
Yeah.
Max Brosmer, surely he can't be worse than JJ McCarthy. Holy hell. It is an absolute dumpster fire here. I'm not going to be, I don't want to come on and be a Debbie Downer every week, but when you're dealing with a season like this and watching Vikings games like this, I'm just going to be real, and it ain't going to be pleasant. So if there's Vikings fans in the comments, I mean, buckle up. It ain't going to be pretty tonight because this season has been absolutely disgusting.
Well, I think that's totally fair, but we did have some game. It feels like a month ago that this game was played, but such is life. Packers beat the Lions on Thanksgiving so bad, sweeping them actually, so much so that Dion couldn't even show up and represent his Lions, which is totally fair. I understand that, but you know who is represented is those Packers. And Bass, man, I know that you had to be so happy eating your Thanksgiving dinner, knowing that your Packers swept the Detroit Lions. That was the one thing last year, as good as the Packers were, and obviously they got into the playoffs, they were awful within the division, absolutely awful. But that is not the case this year, man. Sweeping the Lions has to feel really, really good. Talk to me about what you saw on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it does. It does feel really good because, like you said, we weren't good in the division last year. Like we were a good football team, but everyone said last year after the season ended, well, you're 1-5 in the division with a fingertip away from being 0-6. Tony, you know that best with that block field goal. So, it feels good to already be, 3-0 in the division and 3 games left and to sweep the Lions. It feels great because, obviously they swept us last year. They're starting to get that mentality of we're going to punch you in the face, and the Packers weren't really punching back. It seemed like every game, both games last year, they just kind of always had the upper hand. They had the higher energy. They had more aggressiveness, and that completely flipped on its head here. Week 1 to start the season. And then here on Thanksgiving, a much closer game. But in my opinion, it kind of just changed that narrative that, hey, the Lions are the team that you shouldn't, punch back against. Like, they're too aggressive and they're going to bite your kneecaps off. And what I saw from this game is the Packers, they're going to bite back. And that's what I love to see from Matt LaFleur in this game, that, all season we're kind of like, okay, Matt LaFleur is this conservative coach and we can see what he's going to do. And he has no bite to him, but he really did in this game. And I really want to point to a couple situations in this game, two goal line situations on fourth down, that LaFleur goes for it. And in times past, we'd probably just kick the 3. Hey, it's a divisional game. We're in their house. Let's take the points, right? And if we did that, we probably would have lost this game. Now, obviously, it all comes down to execution, and the calls look great on fourth down when you execute them, both times on the goal line. And I think not only did you execute them, but Matt LaFleur schemed up some really good route concepts for both situations. They knew the Lions were running a lot of man coverage like they like to, especially around the goal line. They ran a trio on both sides, usually the left side, and they do switch releases. And when you switch release, your defenders have to also switch, kind of changes the leverage a little bit. And you have instant outside leverage outside release on an inside leverage cornerback. And they did both times, Romeo Doubs and Tay Wicks on both fourth down. So it was really great to see that from this Packers offense, just the aggressiveness to say, hey, we're going to execute over you guys on offense and we're going to go and punch this thing in the end zone and score, when we need to. And Jordan Love, just continues to be so on fire during this November and into December now. The Toyota-thon, I'm sure you guys hear me talk about it a lot. It's actually crazy. I think the 3 seasons during Toyota-thons, like 35 touchdowns, like 1 interception, is actually ridiculous. Like, we joke about it here, like, for Packers fans, but it's actually kind of ridiculous. He finished 18 of 30, a little lower on the completion percentage than I would have liked, 234 yards. But when it mattered most, found the end zone 4 times, didn't touch the ground once, not a quarterback sack, not a quarterback hit. Great quarterback rating of 124.2. Another thing about this offense that I really liked was, we're starting to get the ground game going. We're starting to see more success on the interior. Aaron Banks is starting to play more consistent. Sean Ryan filled in at center, and it's been playing better than Elton Jenkins did at center. And then we made a switch last week, 2 weeks ago, put Anthony Belton in at right guard. It's looked great over Jordan Morgan. And he's been more of that, like, people mover down low. And it's really bolstered the interior of our offensive line. And we've been able to run with more success. Jacobs getting 4.9 per carry, probably his season high on a single game. And then on the flip side, shutting down their run game. The Lions were 6-0 with 100+ rushing yards. Now, they got 100 in this game, but 24 of them was off one Jared Goff run. So in terms of just running backs, they were actually just at 100. So take that as you will. The Packers, in my opinion, shut down the Lions running attack. Gibbs 20 for 68, a 3.4 average. The Lions love to run outside the tackles. They love to use Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker, get outside, and hopefully you're not going to be able to catch Jahmyr Gibbs. And most of the time that is the case. But I think the Packers linebackers, especially Edgerrin Cooper, Isaiah McDuffie, did a masterful job, playing sideline to sideline, containing the outside. And the Packers defended the run really, really well. Now, with this game, would have been a little bit different with St. Brown not checking out early. I think so. I definitely think so. I mean, Jamison Williams tore us a new one. We played a lot of man coverage. He's a man coverage beater. But outside of that, man, our defense, let up 24 points, but we made plays when it mattered. We had Micah Parsons making plays, like huge plays in this game. He ended with 2.5 sacks. Tay Wicks had an awesome day on offense. And more importantly, I know JMO dropped it, but the Lions were 0-2 on fourth. Like last year in the second game, they were like 4-0 on fourth down against us. So not only did the Packers convert their fourth downs, but they stopped the Lions on their fourth downs, which is just so impressive that this team it was an identity building game is what I like to classify it as. And it gives me a lot more confidence in this team going to play Chicago this week, then Denver, then into Chicago the week thereafter. I have a lot of confidence in this team, especially, sweeping the Lions, which is just awesome. Feels great.
Well, it wasn't all roses and daisies. You guys did lose Devontae Wyatt for the season. Talk to me about that loss and what that's going to mean.
Yeah, it's huge. I remember watching that replay and it was nasty because it's like, dude, I saw that whole lower leg kind of snap and it's like you instantly, obviously, you feel for the guy and you're like, okay, you kind of view ahead. You're like, man, he's not going to be ready for maybe even early 2026, but, we still got a lot of ball left to play. And the Packers D-line, they've been without Wyatt some this year. He started the year off really hot, then got injured, came back kind of slow, then really started to turn it up the past couple of weeks. And then, of course, got injured. But they have other guys that, next man up mentality. Warren Brinson, we drafted in the 6th round. He's looked like a steal so far. Every time he's gotten opportunities, he's been making plays. Carl Brooks is a solid 3-tech. Really what we need to replace is the pass rushing capabilities out of the 3-tech spot. That's what Wyatt is for us, right? Our nose tackle's already, Colby Wooden. So Warren Brinson and Carl Brooks, those are the two guys I really look at to definitely step up in this situation. It's just if they can, because Devontae Wyatt was a big part of this defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that Dose isn't here, but it's really starting to look like the Lions are going to be on the outside looking in. I mean, with the injuries that they've got, some of the losses they've taken down the stretch. Tony, I'll ask you, do you believe that the Lions are going to be on the outside looking in come playoff time?
I think it kind of has to look like that with how the Bears are playing, with how the Packers are playing, with kind of the top of the NFC in general. It's going to be tough. I mean, I don't know if it's Ben Johnson. I'd like to say that, obviously, as the Bears fan, we took their offensive coordinator, but Dan Campbell it's still clearly been Dan Campbell to go for it on 4th. Like, that has all stayed consistent. I think it's going to be tough. They're going to have to battle back, but they are still a good team. Like, they have as good a chance as anyone that's kind of on that bubble right now.
Bass, what about you? You think they're on the outside looking in come playoff time?
Yeah, I think it's just because, they're coming off a bad loss. They're already without Laporta. That's definitely hurt their offense. They have really no tight end there. St. Brown is huge, obviously. If they can't get 200 rushing yards, they lose the game. That's their bread and butter. And if they don't have that, then they're pretty much done. I don't know. It's hard to say because, they play Dallas tomorrow. And to me, Dallas is the best 6-win football team right now. Dallas is on fire, and is Detroit going to be able to beat them? And if they don't, now we're looking at Detroit at 7-6. And obviously one of the Packers or Bears have to win. Hopefully we don't have another tie, please. So it's okay, so another NFC North team has to win, and the Lions, very well could drop one against Dallas. And they also have, a tough schedule after that thereafter. So to me, until they prove otherwise, I think they are on the outside looking in.
And One Bar, what about you? You think they're going to miss the playoffs as well?
I hope the Bears and Packers do tie, just for my personal entertainment, because I have nothing else to root for. Just to be clear, no, I think the Lions are done, man. Watching that Packers-Lions game, I know it was close. What was it, 24? I mean, it was a one-score game, but it just didn't seem like the Lions of the last couple of years. It's when you're watching, it's you know what? This isn't as scary as it was. All right, fine. They're going for it on 4th. Oh, they're not getting it. It's not working. And I think they're done. I mean, they've lost 3 of the last 5. I think they're going to lose to the Cowboys. That defense is just such an issue. So yeah, no, I think it's going to be Bears and Packers.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, if they lose to the Cowboys and then they have the same record as the Cowboys already have the tie. So first of all, they're going to beat everybody as far as tiebreakers go because they'll have less losses in the loss column. So that they have that going for them. But it really looks like teams, in order to have a chance at the playoffs, have to make it to 11 wins. 11 is the minimum. It might even have to be 12, which is crazy to say, depending on, if Dallas gets to 11, that means you got to get to 12 just to pass them. So It's very interesting. And playing Dallas this week, I really think that one of those two teams, their playoff hopes are going to be dashed after this week. And that's going to be interesting. You already have the Cowboys who just beat the Chiefs, who are in a must-win situation. They beat the Eagles, the Chiefs. Now, if they can beat the Lions, I mean, golly, man, that's a scary, scary team if they can sneak into the playoffs. But I digress. This is the NFC North. We'll talk about just that. And that means we got to talk about Friday. And wow, Bears beat the Eagles. And it's not just that they beat the Eagles. It's not like they snuck by the Eagles. They kind of low-key dominated that game. You're getting some horses back on defense. This team is looking very, very complete at the moment, Tony. Talk to me about what you saw on Friday from your Bears against the defending champs.
Dominated is the word I wrote down here when I kind of was writing down some notes for this. The story of the game, it was simple. It was just the Bears went into Philly on Black Friday and beat the Eagles at their own game. On the offensive side, they controlled the clock 40. They had the ball for 40 minutes. They absolutely dominated time of possession, which has kind of been what the Bears have been doing, at least this back half of the year. They ran the ball down their throat. 281 yards, nearly 300 yards rushing on the defending champs. Kyle Monangai, DeAndre Swift each went over 100 yards. First Bears duo to do that since Walter Payton and Matt Suhey. Guess what year that was? 1985. Just saying. In the passing game, on paper, it left a little to be desired, of course, but the game is not played on paper. It's played in the elements, which included 30-mile-per-hour winds. However, after struggling to pass the ball all game, halfway through that fourth quarter, Caleb Williams rolling out left, throwing a perfect, gorgeous 28-yard touch pass to Cole Kmet for a touchdown, kind of solidify that win. Windy conditions, pressure in his face, rolling opposite of his arm. That's a franchise quarterback throw if I've ever seen one. Not to use the F word, but franchise quarterback, I think we have one, folks. Defensively, the Eagles came into that game having committed an NFL low 6 turnovers. Bears took the ball away twice. Twice is not the biggest number. It's not 4. It's not 5. It's not a flashy number. But 2, when they've committed 6 turnovers all year, is huge. So we held Jalen Hurts and Saquon to only 87 rushing yards. 87 rushing yards for the MVP and then the Jalen Hurts, who was the best short distance running quarterback in the league. Nashawn Wright, though, blew up the tush push. We're not scared of the tush push. He absolutely ripped that ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands. It was in the red zone too. That was a game-saving play. AJ Brown did carve us up. 10 catches, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. But he gets paid to play football too. I am chalking that one up to our secondary just getting healthy, and our linebackers are just members of the local pipe fitters union filling in at linebacker there. So I did get a little nervous at the end, thanks to that boneheaded move. I know there's been some talk on social media about the right decision here. It's a boneheaded move by Nick Sirianni to go for 2, down 9. So it really never got too hairy, thankfully. I will never buy into the analytics of going for 2, down 9, down 8. Sure. But either way, it was refreshing to see the opposing coach make a head-scratching decision, not Matt Dweeberflus, not any of the guys we've had in the past. We have a competent organization almost, which is still crazy to say with the McCaskey still running the show at the top. It's competent football, and that's all. I've been talking to Chicago Nick about this for years. I just want to be competent. Don't embarrass me in front of my friends. And they did not do that on Black Friday, national television. And now we got the biggest game of the year coming up at Lambeau Field.
Absolutely crazy, man. I think, it's been really fun to sit back and watch. I'm a 49er fan personally. The Bears obviously have a very historic franchise, but I like it when teams that have been down for a while, their fan base finally has something good to root for. And that's been the Bears all season long. And, as iffy as it started out week 1 against Minnesota, it was like you have the lead, you blow it, all the, everything that happened within the course of that game. It's like, here we go again. It was really rocky on offense with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. It's like, man, is this really going to work out? Is this a good pairing? A lot of questions, but as the season has gone along, the Bears have gotten better and better. And it wasn't just beating the Eagles. It was how they beat the Eagles, because the talk about the Eagles was how bad the offense was. The talk was never about that defense, and running the ball the way that they did against the Eagles was so impressive to watch on Friday, man. The Bears are for real. They've got an extremely tough schedule down the stretch, though. So I'll just ask you, Tony, off the cuff, how many wins do you think, you don't have to say where the losses come from, but how many wins do you think the Bears ultimately end up with?
That's a good question. So prior to going into this Eagles game, I was telling everyone, hey, if we finish 3-4, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Get us to 12 wins. Totally fine with that. Well, we got one of those wins, and it was not where I was expecting to get it. If I, just calling it honestly here, I'd say, if I'm being honest, I think we split with the Packers. I'd like to say we're going to win both games. I'm a Bears fan. Of course, I want to win every game. I think we split. I think we get to 12 wins at least. Or 13. Sorry, I guess it'd be 13 now. Add that one. 13 wins, I think, is what the Bears end up with. I can't believe I'm saying those words. That's crazy.
God, even
December,
12 wins. Even 12 wins would be incredible, man. Like, that's wow. I know Nick's been excited all season long, but I know at the beginning of the season, in his heart of hearts, he wouldn't have never predicted 12 or 13 wins. Like, it's been a great season. Year 1 of Ben Johnson, the culture is being built. you know, as a Bears fan, I would be ecstatic watching those post games where he's ripping his shirt off and getting everybody pumped. You know, it's interesting because Ben Johnson, tell me, Tony, what your thoughts were of him, but at least me, when I looked at Ben Johnson coming over from the Lions, I just looked at him as some mad scientist with maybe that would lack some personality or leadership, but he just had the offense dialed in. I never expected this type of personality from that guy.
That first locker room post-win video, because that was what, third game of the season, that was our first win.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect him to be yelling, honestly. Like, it would just, I thought it was going to be like a little crazy, a little kooky. Everyone respects him because he's smart, but it has been awesome. Taking his shirt off, giving Chicago free hot dogs. Like, we love him. We love him so much. It's been 13 games. We are so in love with this guy. It is going to break our heart if it ends up falling apart. I don't think it will. I'm all in. They're competent. I love Ben Johnson.
All right, man. Well, listen, one bar. I'm sorry. I know you would much rather avoid this game, but we do have to talk about it. Vikings lose in embarrassing fashion, 26-0. Although Max Brosmer did have a touchdown pass in his first career game, so he does have that going for him, although it was for the Seahawks defense. Shout out to those that played the Seahawks defense in fantasy football. You got to love that. But either way, man, 26-0 this season, as you said, keeps getting just slightly worse. You had a little reprieve beating the Lions, and now all of a sudden, here you are getting smacked 26-0 against the Seahawks. Talk to me about what you saw from your Vikings.
What I saw from the Vikings, not much. I mean, I could sit and talk about.
Well, talk to me about the Seahawks at least.
Yeah. I'd love to talk to you about the Seahawks. I mean, look, man, it's absolutely disgusting. I mean, even the way you intro this thing, like embarrassing loss, just gross. Like it's almost like you got to laugh at this point. Like each year, like the Vikings are notorious for always being in the hunt. Like they're either always in the playoffs or they're always pushing to be in the playoffs. Like this season is historically bad. It really is. If you look at some of the worst seasons the Vikings have had, this is right up there with it. And there is no sugarcoating it at all. And it's kind of new territory. It's not comfortable territory. It's the worst. It really is. I mean, really, it's the same story, different week. You look at what happened against the Seahawks. I mean, they got shut out offensively, first time in 18 years. 18 years, the first time they've been shut out, 26 rip. Defense. I mean, if you look at this, and if you were to tell me you're going to hold Sam Darnold to 128 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, Jackson Smith and Jigba 2 receptions, and Seattle is going to get 1 offensive touchdown, I would say, all right, we might actually win this thing. Like, those are insane stats. Like, defensively, they've showed up week in and week out. I mean, granted, they're on the field for 59 minutes and they're playing their asses off. It's like this defense is actually doing their thing, and that's a hats off to Brian Flores. It comes down, like I said, it's the offense. Everybody knows it's the offense. And when I say offense, it's the quarterback. So Max Brosmer, we know, undrafted free agent, went to Minnesota. It was a great story. As J.J. McCarthy was struggling, everybody's like, all right, you know, they're not playing Brosmer because they don't want him to look better. There's like a conspiracy theory here. And you know what? I was actually excited, the fact that Brosmer was going to go out there, just because, like I said, when we started this thing, we keep saying it can't get worse. I mean, even an undrafted free agent rookie, everybody was thinking, you know what? It can't get worse. J.J. McCarthy is playing at such a historically bad pace. Like, it can't get worse. And sure enough, the dude goes out there and throws 4 interceptions. And it did get worse. It was horrifying. And he looked, I mean, to be fair to him, he looked like an undrafted free agent rookie. Like, I'm not saying Max Brosmer needs to be cut tomorrow, but it was bad. It was very, very bad. And at this point, offensively, you have to start looking at the fact that Kevin O'Connell, I mean, you got to start looking at KOC. He is a good coach. We talked about a couple of weeks ago about, as far as, like, you know, I don't think he's going to get fired. He probably doesn't deserve to be fired. But you have to look at the fact that you've had J.J. McCarthy, historically bad, like I've said. Max Brosmer, only 1 game, sure enough, but just bad. Carson Wentz, just, I mean, even when he was out there, bad. It's like, at some point you have to look at it. You have to look at the play calling. You have to look at the lack of running the ball. You have to look at the third down percentages. I mean, the third and shorts, I saw it somewhere. The Vikings this year, between third and less than 3, are one of the worst teams in NFL history this year. Their third down percentages is one of the worst in the league. Everything you look at is just bad, bad, bad. And Kevin O'Connell and a rookie quarterback is not meshing well. It is not meshing well at all. And you put Justin Jefferson on a little cherry on top. The dude has 2 receptions for 4 yards. Doesn't talk to the media. That's the first time that at least this season, all of a sudden it's like, all right, obviously he's pissed off and something's going on there. So, I mean, it was a dumpster fire on offense. Defensively, I mean, any shining spots? I mean, Dallas Turner has come on. He started to look very good. I'm getting a little excited about him. But, I mean, when you go back to the offensive side of the ball, it's just there's going to be some big-ass changes. What those changes will be, we will see. I mean, Vikings media, some of the guys that are definitely in the know saying, like, they're not getting any rumblings that there will be any changes to the GM, to the head coach. But the big questions moving forward is J.J. McCarthy. He's going to be starting this week against Washington. He's got 5 games left. He's got to show an ounce. He's got to show an ounce of something. And KOC has to put him in a situation where he can show an ounce, because it is bad news. And coming this offseason, Vikings, they like to do their little competitive rebuilds, and that's why they're in it every year. They haven't ripped that thing butt naked down for quite a while, and it's probably going to be time. It's going to be time. It's going to be a very interesting few years for the Vikings. And like I said, moving forward, J.J. McCarthy in the next 5 games, it's got to show something. Just an inch of something.
I think so. Would you say that it's fair to say that that's what the rest of the season's about, is JJ McCarthy and figuring out if you got something in him? Because if he continues to play the way that he did, then you guys have probably got to look at some sort of veteran quarterback next year, I would imagine. You know, maybe you come knocking for Mac Jones if they want to try to keep the competitive thing going. I don't know, but that's got to be what the rest of the season's all about. Yeah.
Well, to me, the rest of the season is about just not losing. I mean, this is where Kevin O'Connell is going to come in handy. He's a smooth talker. He's a car salesman. He says all the right stuff. He can't lose guys like Justin Jefferson. 5 games left. He can't be going out in the media. He can't be dodging the media. He's got to be saying the right things, doing the right things. There's still some very talented players on this roster. That's the worst part about this. I mean, we're coming off a 14-win season. Like, there's still some very good players on this team, and he can't lose this locker room. He can't have all of a sudden guys in the offseason getting to the point where they're requesting trades, doing this, doing that. So that's my biggest thing. J.J. McCarthy doing anything is just kind of a cherry on top. If McCarthy, I mean, I'm all for giving a rookie quarterback, second year, but rookie year, all the time in the world. He does have to show something here. If he plays exactly like he's been playing as he's played this year, like, yeah, there's absolutely going to be changes at the quarterback position. And you know what? It's crazy. You think, like, you know, you see the Mac Joneses, you see the possibly, you know, maybe Daniel Jones, you bring him back if the Colts don't franchise him or sign him. You see all this stuff and you laugh about it. But all I'll say is, you know what? Maybe KOC was meant to have that veteran quarterback a la Sam Darnold. You can laugh at a Mac Jones, but look what he did with Sam Darnold. Don't get me wrong, man. Jesse, I do not want your Mac Jones. But if he comes here, I will eat that shit up immediately. I'll be like, all right, let's go, baby. KLC can turn him around.
All right. Well, listen, you can have Brock Purdy then. You want Brock Purdy? I'll give you Brock Purdy.
I'll take Mac Jones over Brock Purdy.
All right. Well, I tried, man. I tried to give you Brock Purdy. All right. Well, listen, it'll be an interesting end of season for the Vikings. And, you know, I always say if your team's not in the playoffs, it does suck for these final few weeks. I get it. But you guys will get to dominate all the offseason talk, because there's always hope in the offseason for teams that didn't have good seasons the year before. So you can look forward to that at the very least. One bar. Look forward to that one. All right. Let's hear from our sponsor real quick. Sleeper, you can get a 100% deposit match. Win using promo code RTS of up to $100. Link is pinned to the top of the description. Just for the sake of time, while we were backstage, I went ahead and made the picks. we got a freebie in Dak Prescott. So we got the Thursday night football game here. We took our freebie in Dak Prescott. He just has to get a passing yard. I feel pretty good about that. Brandon Aubrey, I got him at making more than 1.5 field goals. Chances are he'll boot a 60-yarder in the half or something like that. So that'll get us one. And then Jared Goff, I'm going to fade him. I'm going less than 251.5, but I am taking Jahmyr Gibbs to get more on 72.5. That one is $10, pays out $71.80. Sleeper is the fastest growing fantasy football app. You also can have skin in the game, so you can tail us, you can fade us, but make sure either way you use promo code RTS. All right, fellas, we got a couple super chats here before we get to the second half of the show, so let me grab those just real quick. We got Too Evil to Hope. He says the Vikings should fire Kwesi, KOC, and 9 into the sun. I mean, do you think, do you think, that's awful. Do you think that they should get rid of Kwesi or KOC or both?
You know, the feeling, I mean, the GM and coach thing is just like they came in together. That's always a tough thing to get rid of, like the GM and keep the coach, because it's just always the same old story. You bring a new GM in and the coach gets fired halfway through the season. It never fails. So I do, if one of them were to go, Kwesi definitely is the guy that should go, that deserves to go. The Vikings spent the most money in free agency this year coming off that 14 win. Look where it got him. He spent nowhere.
He's
you
like
look at the draft picks, nowhere. So yeah, I think if anybody deserves to go, it's him. But I don't think he will.
All right. And then we got Chris Fike says the Bears will win the division. Screw the Packers. Skull. Jeez, man. Even the Vikings fans hate you. That one threw me for a loop. For a $2 chat, I don't know that I've ever gone that many different directions. I thought he was a Bears fan. I didn't read the Chris Vikings thing. Thought he was a Bears fan, and then it was like screw the Packers. And oh, by the way, I'm a Vikings fan. So take that, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
He's consistent. Yeah. He just says like whatever he wants and then just skull at the end.
Yeah, no, Chris is the man, man.
He's consistent.
I was in Minnesota this past week for some Thanksgiving stuff. It was, hey, you know, we're our opponents, whatever, Vikings, Bears, but we had one common denominator. We do not root for the Packers. Sorry, Bass.
Yeah.
To put it politely.
FTP, man. It's your slogan.
Oh, yeah. That's the way it works. All right. Well, listen, let's hear from our second sponsor of the evening. That is RotoWire, the best tandem fantasy football app out there. You can get 15% off when using promo code RTS. The playoffs are approaching. If you have any lineup decisions, this is the place to go. Trust me, I've been using them for years, and I win a lot of leagues because of them. But also, if you're into degeneracy like we are here, daily fantasy pick'em, you can go here to Sleeper, pair the two together, and you can get your weekly picks. So they've got an AI algorithm here. It gives you a confidence meter of how confident they are that a player is going to have more or less in a particular category. For example, since it's the NFC North, let's talk a little Kirk Cousins, right? That's always fun. More than 192.5 passing yards. The algorithm says, hell yeah, you should definitely beat that drum. Tell you what you shouldn't do, though. You shouldn't take the more on CJ Stroud at 236.5. They're confident that he's going to have less. But either way, whether you use Sleeper or another app as your choice, they are definitely great with their AI algorithms. Link is pinned in the description. 15% off using promo code RTS. All right, fellas, it's time to get into week 14. Listen, NFC North's always in these primetime games. Every single week, you guys are just there. Now, I don't have great Thursday night football music the way that I would if it's Sunday or Monday night football, but we do get to kick it off this week. And what I love about this is both of these teams played on Thanksgiving. So although it's a Thursday night game, it is not a short week for either one of these teams, and that's fantastic. So we got the Lions versus the Cowboys Thursday night football. We don't have Dose here. We know he would pick the Lions. So one bar, I'm going to start with you. Who wins this one on Thursday night football, Lions or the Cowboys?
Yeah, I kind of showed my hand here on the Cowboys, but I'm expecting. I mean, you got to look at this and just you got to be expecting some offensive fireworks on this thing. Both teams averaging 29 plus points a game. Both defenses playing like balls. I mean, but the other thing is both these teams are trying to get in the playoffs. I mean, this is an absolute huge game for both these teams. So I'm looking forward to watching this Thursday night game. But I am going to go Cowboys. Like I said before, the Lions just have not looked great, losing the last 3 out of 5. I mean, shit, the Vikings beat them. I mean, the Cowboys are going to air that thing out, and they're going to air it out a ton. They actually have looked very, very well on offense. So I got a lot of points. I got Dallas winning 31-27.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, Tony, who are you picking in this Thursday night football matchup?
So you guys are real high on the Cowboys, and I get it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a Cowboys hater. The NFC North is 1-0-1 against the Cowboys this year. So I do think the Lions win this one. I do think they win 30-23. There's something about Dan Campbell. The Lions are so good off a loss. I don't remember the stat. I swear I had it written down, but I guess I don't. But there was a point where they had won tons of games off of losses. Look it up yourself before you make any picks with that. But promise that's true.
All right, Bass, talk to me, man. Who do you have winning this one, Lions or Cowboys?
Yeah, just like one bar, I kind of showed my hand. We were talking about the Lions a little bit there. To me, their offense is just so on fire right now with Dak. He's been really, really good, especially if you look at like EPA and all the advanced analytics for quarterbacks the past like 4 weeks. It's been pretty absurd. George Pickens has been unstoppable. CeeDee Lamb. It's like when you also have CeeDee Lamb there, Jake Ferguson's going off. Terry and Arnold just went on IR. I don't know who they're going to have cover these guys. Like I am scared for their defense, especially a defense that majority plays cover one man. I'm sorry, but like the Cowboys are going to eat that up. They're like Pickens against cover one man. Like you have to shade a safety to either CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens. So choose, right? So, I think, with the Lions banged up, it doesn't look like St. Brown's going to play. He's still carrying a questionable tag, but he didn't practice all week. I know he's tough as nails, but I just don't know if they're going to, we'll see. But what extent, what percent will he be at? And I just think they're kind of losing their identity a little bit where the Cowboys are kind of getting theirs back. So, like I said earlier, Dallas, I think, is like the best 6-win team right now, and that includes the Baltimore Ravens. I got Dallas 35-27.
Ooh, as a host, I don't normally make predictions, but since Dose isn't here, I'm going to throw my name in the hat as well. I agree, man. Dallas to me is like the scariest team in the NFC if they make the playoffs. They just absolutely are. Ever since the trade deadline, when they went and got those boys up the middle on defense, their defense is formidable. They've got a good secondary. They've always had a good secondary. They just couldn't get after the quarterback, and they had bad linebacker play, but that's all changed with the trades that they made. And that offense is absolutely on fire. Dak is hooping out of his mind right now. I get it. He might be different come playoff time. We'll see if that happens again. But right now he's playing really, really good football without Terry Arnold. And certainly if no Amon-Ra St. Brown and Laporta, I don't know how they win that track meet. So I'm going to go 30-24 Cowboys as well, man. I think the Cowboys keep their playoff hopes alive, and I think the Lions are cooked, but we will see. Maybe there is some fight left in these Detroit Lions. All right, we got Vikings versus the Commanders. Maybe Jaden Daniels will be back.
Let's go.
Mariota, baby.
Maybe it'll be the return of Jaden Daniels. Maybe it'll be the return of the great JJ McCarthy. You never know. We'll see. He's practicing. It looks like he's gonna play. It's Jaden Daniels that's questionable. Bass, we'll rotate it right back to you. Vikings versus the Commanders, 1 p.m. Eastern. Who do you have winning this game?
Yeah, it's a great quarterback battle we've all been waiting for. Mariota, JJ, 9, whatever you want to call him. Hopefully it's not Brosmer. I know JJ I don't think he's cleared protocol, but they say he's pretty much like,
yeah, he's playing.
Expect him to play. Playing. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, hopefully not Brosmer. I guess for my case, hopefully, but it's not going to be, it's going to be JJ. Neither team's playing for much, but at the same time, I still think both teams can get some success here, but I don't know really what I'm going to be watching for. Honestly, I'm not going to watch this one. Minnesota's at home. So like one bar, I'm going to give you guys a win, but it's going to be all field goals, 12-9. That's it.
Oh God, what a game.
12-9.
That's 12 more points than we scored last week, baby. I'll take that all day, baby. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
Bass's score predictions this year have been absolutely hilarious all the way through. I'm glad you brought this one back. That's fantastic. Tony, Vikings versus the Commanders, 1 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. How do you see this one going down?
My full notes was this is a gross game. Sorry.
That's rude, Tony.
I do think Marcus Mariota kind of used all the juice he had left in that game against the Broncos. That was an awesome game, by the way. But I do not think he's gonna get it up the same way for the Vikings. I do think you guys sneak this one out. I think it's 17-9, still definitely low scoring, not exactly a barn burner of a game, but I think you guys got this. I think the Commanders stink. I really think that was just an anomaly against the Broncos. So congrats to your Vikings, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you. I needed that. I really appreciate that. I feel like I should give a speech.
All right, one bar. Talk to me. Vikings versus the Commanders, 1 p.m. Eastern. Please tell me the Vikings can squeak out a win here.
I mean, I don't even know if this is this even on television? Is it just going to be on radio? Like, I mean, Tony nailed it. Gross game. Washington, they lost 7 in a row. Vikings have lost 6 of the last 7. Jane Daniels doesn't sound like he's going to play. JJ McCarthy is back. I mean, if there's any game, like when you look at the Viking schedule, this is just looking at a high level, this is the game that they could win. This might be their final win and only win of the season as we wrap it up. I mean, Washington offensively, like this is their moment. Washington gives up a ton of yards on the ground, through the air. They're not a very good team. Like JJ McCarthy, if you're going to show anything, this is the game. Washington's given up 300 plus yards the last 3 games in the air. And they don't even get to the quarterback that much. I think they're on the lower half in the league as far as sacking the quarterback. I mean, defensively, like I said earlier, defense is going to be fine. It's just a matter of if the Vikings can put any sort of points on the scoreboard. And while a win would be wonderful, like there's a lot of Vikings fans just saying like, you know what, lose out, get that draft pick. Just do not win another game. I'm never on that board at all. Like get the dubs. Who cares? Wherever you draft. But like the other thing is maybe try get some other players in the field at this point. Like we drafted a Ty Felton in round 3. Get some other players in the mix. Start looking at actually next year. It's sad to say at this point in the season with 5 games left, but like start seeing what you have. I mean, there's a lot of free agents that the Vikings are going to be moving on from. There's a lot of guys there's going to be moving on from in general. So like get those guys on the field. And on the other thing is just make sure nobody's checking out. KOC, if he can't do anything against this Washington defense, man, if they lose at home against Washington, poof. I mean, then the chirps will start coming and they will be very valid. But I do think the Vikings win. It won't be pretty. I don't think there's going to be a pretty game left. I got the Vikings like 20-17.
Man, I forgot you guys drafted Ty Felton. I really like Ty Felton coming out. It sounds like
Vikings
you guys can
don't.
trade. Yeah, I know. It sounds like you guys could trade JJ McCarthy now. You guys should be fine. I mean, excuse me, Justin Jefferson. You guys should be fine. You got Ty Felton waiting there in wings there, so you're good to go.
Ty Felton, man.
Try to remind me. Try to remind me. I've got a question for you pertaining to KOC that I forgot to ask in the last segment, but I'll wait until these picks are done here. All right, let's talk about the matchup of the week: Bears versus the Packers, 4:25 p.m. Eastern. You gotta love this time slot. I believe it might have been flex, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, we got a hell of a matchup on our hands. I cannot wait for this. As Nick would say, of course it's in Lambeau Field because the Packers never don't have a home game. Here we are once again. One bar, I'm going to spin it back to you since you're not involved in the game. Bears at Packers, 4:25 p.m. Eastern. Who do you have winning this game?
Yeah, man, you don't have a pulse if you're not excited for this game. I'm so stoked for this game. I'm expecting a lot of yards on the ground from both teams. And watching that Bears last week, watching what they were doing on the ground, and then you got your big boy missing Baz on the defensive line. It's going to be a damn good game. And like what I hope it comes down to, like it's going to come down to the quarterbacks in my mind. Like if you're a Bears fan, what better story? Like the Bears are on the map this year. You can say that. And what better story than Caleb Williams to go in the Lambeau and get a dub when it comes down to the – I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it'd be a beautiful Disney movie someday. Caleb Williams goes in and gets the win in Lambeau and separates a little bit more from the Packers. It would be great. But I am drinking the Bears Kool-Aid. I really am. I mean, they're playing good. I do think the Bears and Packers split. the rest of the season, but I got the Packers at home. I think the Packers do end up getting the dub. I think Ben Johnson pulling his milkers out after that game in the locker room last week jinxed them. You shouldn't have done that, man. You got to leave those milkers covered up. I appreciate the excitement, but that jinxed them, man. The Bears will get them next time, but I got the Packers 24-21.
Well, take it from one bar. Keep the milkers put away after a win. Well, listen, the Bears are the number 1 seed right now in the NFC, which is absolutely crazy. They're going to have to win to keep that going. If they don't, maybe the Packers can sneak back into the number 1 seed. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out here. But Bass, talk to me. Your team's at home, man. You know this matchup's for real. I know that you're taking the Bears very, very seriously after the way that they just beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Both of you have a little bit more rest than normal. One of you played on Thursday. Obviously, the Bears played on Friday. So both teams well rested at this point. So there are no excuses, man. Talk to me about who wins this game.
Yeah, like I said, obviously the next 3 weeks are going to decide the NFC North, and like you said, could even decide overall the NFC outlook and seeding and whatnot. If one of these teams sweeps the other team, then they could very well end up being that number 1 seed in the NFC. You know, like you said, both teams are playing really, really good right now. The Bears are clicking on offense. It seems like Ben Johnson has fully, gotten to the identity that we saw last year with the Lions, where you have 2 running backs and you're like, which one are you going to try to stop, because the other one's going to tear you up as well. Jordan Love and this offense is clicking. Matt LaFleur seemingly got his identity back. So I think it's all shaping up to be a really good game for both teams. Now, I do have a couple notes here. That the Bears defense, as good as it's been very reliant on turnovers, and that's fine. You can't remove that. They have created those turnovers. You've guys like Kevin Byard just revitalizing his career. You have other players like, is it Nashawn Wright, coming out of nowhere, getting some interceptions this year. So, you don't get rid of that. But I do look at it from a standpoint that, hey, the Packers have been protecting the ball very, very well as of late. Like Jordan Love has thrown 3 interceptions on the year, as much as the media might want to portray that he always throws interceptions when he's literally thrown the least in the NFC North. 19 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. He hasn't thrown one in 5 weeks. So Jordan Love has been really good at protecting the football. Fumbles are another thing. We have had some fumbles earlier in the year, cleaned it up as of late. But again, the Bears defense, they're really relying on turnovers. And I think the Packers do a really good job at protecting the football. Another thing I have written down is in my opinion, the Bears are a bottom of the league run defense. When you look at them statistically, in terms of yards per game, they're bottom 5. And then when you look at some advanced analytics, they're 26 in the league or worse in all of these categories. Rush success rate, they're 27th in terms of a defensive standpoint. Stuff run percentage, they're 26. Yards before contact, they're 32nd. And run stop win rate, they're 26. And one thing that the Packers have done really well as of late is starting to get some continuity, get some consistency on the interior offensive line, where earlier in the year, it looked like a train wreck. You had multiple guys playing out of position, Elton Jenkins at center, Jordan Morgan at guard. Now it's like, okay, we've got Sean Ryan on the inside at center. He's been playing some better ball. Aaron Banks is finally healthy. So he's having some, consistency down at the left guard spot. And then, like I said earlier, Anthony Belton plugging in at right guard, and how good Zach Tom and Rasheed Walker, you don't even got to talk about those guys, because they're just, you always expect them to come in and play some good ball at the tackle spot. So I think the Packers are going to find success on the ground. Now, I do think, as good as the Bears have been in the running attack, I think the Packers, on the flip side, have a top 15 run defense. And I know we're losing Devontae Wyatt, but here's the thing. Yeah, sure, he helps our run defense. He definitely does. But he's a 3-tech pass rushing defensive lineman. Our nose tackle has been Colby Wooden, and our main success of our run game has been at the hands of our linebackers playing downhill. And Javon Bullard at nickel, or Evan Williams, Xavier McKinney playing downhill, sideline to sideline speed of Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, Isaiah McDuffie taking a step up this year, playing really good against the run. And in my opinion, the Packers have a top 15 run defense in terms of stuffed run percentage. They're 13th. Yards before contact, they're 12th. And run stop win rate, they are 12th as well. And I think the Packers offensive line is on a hot streak. Bears are 31st in pressure rate. I think we're going to be able to protect Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love has been the best quarterback when clean in the NFL this year. When you look at the stats, it's absolutely ridiculous. And like I said, I think we're going to protect the football. If Jordan Love protects the football, I think the Packers come away with this one, because the Bears, they're 6-0 on 2+ turnovers, and all 3 losses are a quarterback has thrown 1 interception or less, and 2 of them they throw 0. And we might be getting Jaden Reed back. Maybe Matthew Golden returns. There's a lot of players returning for both teams here. But overall, I could see the Packers splitting the Bears, but if they're going to win one, I think it's going to be this one in Green Bay. So I got the Packers 31-26.
Oh, Freudian slip there at the end. Oh, is that the real score prediction? He just doesn't want to let it out. No, I'm just joking. Listen, great analysis, Bass. I really appreciate it. This game's going to be a great game to watch. Cannot wait for it. All right, Tony, talk to me, man. I know you like what Bass had to say. You yourself did say that you think they're going to split with the Packers. So does that mean that this is the one that they drop, or is this the one that they win? Talk to me.
That's a great question. I didn't actually think that through when I said it. It was more of like, I'm just going to say this. It'll be nice. I'm obviously going to pick the Bears both games, but right now I'm picking this one.
I love it.
So we're going, okay, I'm going vibes first, and then we'll go stats. So first, Bears Packers at Lambeau, sun setting at 4:11 p.m. I looked that up. 4:11. That is so early. The Midwest is frozen solid right now. We're draped in snow. First place in the NFC North on the line. I mean, not to be corny and use this line, but I literally used to pray for times like this. Like, it is all my dreams. Well, potentially nightmares, but all my dreams coming true right now. All right. So we'll get into the stats. So some of the big stats that jumped out to me. The Bears have like Bass was mentioning, definitely turnover heavy defense. So they have a +17 turnover differential. The next closest teams are at +9. So they are absolutely crushing in turnovers this year. Classic Bears defense. However, Bass is also right that the Packers, they've only turned the ball over on 5.9% of their possessions. That's second best in the league. That's pretty good. So we got a defense that forces 1+ turnover versus an offense that's more likely to have a game canceled due to snow than turn it over. It's crazy. Real hot take coming in here, though. The Bears are going to have to win this turnover battle. I know it's obvious, but we have to stay consistent with winning the turnover battle. That's how you're going to win at Lambeau Field against the Packers. The Packers have converted a league high 49.3% of their third downs. We got to get off the field. You have to get off the field when you have a chance. You cannot give the Packers extra downs. It has been the biggest problem in my entire life as a Bears fan, is the Bears cannot get off the field against the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, you name it. They just kill us on third down. Get off the field. Get your offense on. Even if, a couple plays on offense, whatever, just get a break. That's all you need. And then lastly, for the defense, at least force Jordan Love into those uncomfortable throwing positions. I know our pressure rate is not good. Montez Sweat, you got to start earning your contract. He's been better. I don't want to rag on him too hard, but we really got to get some pressure on Jordan Love. Don't get beat over the top, and keep that mentality of 6 or 7 guys to the ball carrier. Play NFC North, cold weather, old school defense. Nothing easy. Make them feel it. And then offensively, so since their week 5 bye, the Bears are second in the NFL in EPA as a rushing offense with 21.8. So we got to punish them in the ground game. The elephants on parade, just keep running the ball. Green Bay does allow only 1.47 points per drive at home. It's 5th in the league. It's pretty good. We do have to finish our drives. We have seen so many promising 7-minute drives, just absolutely sucking the clock, and then we stall out in the red zone. We got to convert. We got to put points on the board. I'll sit up a little higher here. I realize I'm cut off. My apologies, everyone. The Bears lead the league in plays of 10 or more yards per game at 14.4. Big plays open up everything from the ground game to just those little checkdowns. Make them think, make them worry. Bears cover and win outright, 27-23. Good, better, best. Never let it rest. Bear down.
Oh, I absolutely love it. Listen, Nick was going to call in from the Catalina wine mixer. It doesn't sound like it happened. We might have found his replacement. I'm just saying, Nick, look over your shoulder, man. Tony did a good job here. Tony did a really good job. One bar. All right. Before we get out of here, we got to still read the super chats. But before we do that, I did want to ask you about KOC again. I know that you said they're not going to fire KOC, or it seems like that's not the vibes that are coming out. What about the possibility of trading KOC, though? Could you see KOC in that front office like, hey, listen, man, first of all, you guys took forever to get that extension to me. Obviously, things aren't working here. Let's work out a trade, and maybe you can get some draft picks for KOC. How would you feel about that?
Man, you know what? You're right. Like that contract extension took a very long time. It was getting uncomfortable. It was getting weird. Like KOC is always this happy, jolly guy. And then it finally got done. I mean, that's such a rare thing to happen. I mean, I can't see that happening. But I will say, like I said, historically bad season. Anything is on the effing table. Anything. And yes, that includes trading our head coach, which I would be shocked. But bring it on.
All right.
Bring it on.
I just had to throw it
this
out
point,
there.
man.
Yeah, I just had to throw it out there. All right.
I like it.
Brandy says Parsons is going to fold Williams like an accordion on multiple occasions this Sunday. Bears still suck. All right. Brandy, hey, good to see you coming in here. Mr. Inglewood said the Bears are the preseason champs. Remember? Yeah, well, listen, they're actually winning football games now, so it looks like they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah, I love it. Well, listen, before we get out of here, I do want to let everybody know. So most of you probably like, subscribe, do all of that, but YouTube's got a whole new thing they're doing with this hype button. So here's what I need everybody to do. If you're in here, you're loving what you see, go down to where it says subscribe, scroll slightly to the left. There's a hype button. Click that hype button, hype up this channel and this show in particular. That gets more eyes on the NFC North Roundtable. We want to get this thing jumping because you guys are going to have at least 2 teams in the playoffs, possibly 3 if the Lions can figure things out here. So make sure that you hit that hype button, pump up this show. Would love nothing more than that. We have a great slate of games this week and cannot wait. Starting tomorrow, Thursday Night Football, we got the Lions facing the Cowboys, and we got the big showdown, 4:25 p.m. Eastern, Bears, Packers. Cannot wait for that. It'll be more fun to break it down next week and then look forward to Week 15 games. We will do just that next Wednesday, same time, same place, 6 p.m. Eastern. For Tony, Bass, One Bar, I'm your host, Jesse. We'll be back next week. Much love and peace.